Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind Podcast. On this week's show, we're going to recap Subversiv 2. We're going to preview Sub Stars and Fight to Win 118. We also have an interview with Sub Stars as well. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, joined with my co-host,
Emil.
How you doing, Emil?
I'm doing awesome, man. It's good to be back.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, man.
It's nice and sunny outside. How's your weekend?
It's great. As per usual, I miss Kasai. I feel like at this point, it's just like it's written in stone somewhere that
it's just tradition
I will not cover Kasai, even though I fucking love Kasai.
I like if you watch all of them, you just are never here to cover Kasai. You're always here for King of Mats, and you're always here for Quintet.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But
so in this week's news, where do you want to start? We have a couple pieces of news. You want to start with the Yuri call out?
What's going on with DJ? Like, do we know anything about that?
I don't know. So Lloyd Irvin posted on his story that DJ had moved to Atos, and it was a picture of DJ in the Atos rash guard, which, by the way, you have to wear if you ever train Nogi at Atos, so it's like, that doesn't really mean a ton, but it was, I don't know if it was tongue-in-cheek or what. I haven't seen anything come out from DJ at the point of this recording, but it was interesting.
Yeah, it would be a colossal change, right? Like, DJ's been with Lloyd, I think, from the beginning or like real early on? Like he's a UK guy. He's a Maryland guy. Yeah. I think he's from the area. Yeah. So it would be a tectonic shift if DJ left towards Atos, and we can only speculate now as to whether or not it's true. But I will say I absolutely love these moves from gyms when you see people kind of like take a gym style as far as they can in a given like performance or series of performances, and it's amazing to see when they go to a new gym and they start taking on new skills and stuff like that.
Cough at Unity Eddie Cummings.
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but anyway,
Miao's entries into the legs on Subversiv.
We're going to be talking about that actually quite a bit, but yeah, I'm curious to see if it's true or not, but
it would be interesting. So in other news, Yuri Simoes called out Kyle Snyder for either a wrestling or grappling match, and everyone on both sides kind of went,
huh?
But why?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I get like making the call out. Like, Yuri is a pretty decent takedown guy in jiu-jitsu, but it's also in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
where takedowns are, I mean, admittedly, like, competitors are kind of a joke. Like the level of takedown, especially compared to wrestling, is nowhere close. So that might be a bout that takes place. I can't think of really any promoter that I think would be real interested in shelling out the money, especially with Snyder like gearing up to, I think, the Olympics or something.
I have very little interest as a spectator. I will say that. So
man, it's just it's a tough, like, it's one of those things, like in wrestling, like Snyder gets it done. In jiu-jitsu, like Yuri gets it done because that's what they do. I'm way less interested now than I used to be in like style versus style matchups, because it's not the 70s and we've kind of seen how most of those turn out, or 90s. We've kind of seen how those turn out. Emil's kicking around the mic cords now. So in other news, so I came across this cool thing, not really news. It's called Sub Royal. And it's a Korean promotion that does like a weekly like purple belt like showcase for the best purple belts in Korea. I'm fascinated with it. I'm about halfway through episode 1 now, but I want to shout it out because it's produced. It looks kind of like back in the day the brown belt kumite that Lloyd did.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a lot of what it looks like, and it's produced really well. Like, there's a backstory. They do these interviews. Like, it is a really cool piece of content. So check it out. It's on YouTube. It's called Sub Royal. It's funny that Flo also put out a Royal thing this week as well. For the brown belts.
That's awesome.
So it's completely unrelated, but they have the same name. There's so many events that call themselves Royal, like the Royal Invitational that happens after
this
Worlds.
Whole like the use of kings, and like there's so many words that we see repeated over and over in jiu-jitsu. It's like it's impossible to tell like King of Mats apart from King
of Mats.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous.
So let's see what other news I got. AJ got a win in Bellator.
Yeah, so Maine just told me this, and I'm flabbergasted. How did this happen? What cosmic fucking alignment?
He won a fight.
Okay.
He won his fight. Like,
okay.
Woo. Like, he beat the guy up on the ground, and then I think he got a rear naked choke.
Okay. All right.
But props to him. He's also listed as 28 years old.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to his actual age, which is like 34.
Oh, shit. That's a huge difference.
He's also listed as, I think, at 6 foot on the website. and listed as, I think,
Okay.
5'10" on the tail of the tape.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Props to him. Lying about your age, lying about your height. Like, props to you if you're trying to get more to your career and you think guys will do it because you're younger. I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? That could be the promoter.
So in other news, in IJF news, which is International Judo Federation, give me the name, Emil, because I can't do it.
Austrian Sabrina Filmhauser becomes the oldest person to win a IGF World Judo Tour medal. Which is fucking rad. She's 40.
No, she's going to be 40. I think
sorry,
she is
39,
39,
40.
almost going to be 40, and she beats the current record for the oldest person to win a medal, which is 38. So
Fuck yeah.
that's super impressive.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because they don't do weight. There's no like masters in the IJF.
No,
so it's like
there's just exactly.
There's enjoy this adult you have to fight that's 19 that all they do is judo, and they've been doing judo since they were 4.
Yeah.
Enjoy. So big props to her. That's super impressive. She's 2005 and 2010 bronze medalist for the Worlds. So let's see what else. Oh yeah, my back's healing up.
Hell yeah. Sweet.
I can almost like live a normal life in like mild pain, which is dope.
Yeah, dude.
I'm also getting super good at swimming, which I'm about done with and ready to go back to jiu-jitsu. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, Ayrshire Grappler put out a new match study. It's Marcelo versus Sanji. It's out now. Love his work. Really fun stuff. Highly recommend you go watch it.
I didn't realize that there was like a. So, have those two met a lot, like in competition? Sanjay and Marcelo?
I did not expect a follow-up question. I don't know, man. Like,
just think about that. Like, I just those aren't two names that I would.
Yeah, it's from an era before we were a little bit, though.
Yeah, I just for whatever reason I thought Sanjay was heavier, but I could be.
I mean,
wrong.
Marshall, they both do open class, don't they?
Yeah, maybe they've met enough to make a whole fucking video. I can't wait to see it.
It's a nifty video. In other news, BJJ Fanatics is running a brown belt tournament on September 6th in Boston. They're basically going to hand out some video stuff, and it's a $2,500 cash prize. So they're taking like entrance into it right now. If you're in the area and you are a brown belt and you want to win some money and you think you can do it, go do it. I think that's the only piece of news that I have. That's like I think that does it for news this week. Do you have? Oh yeah, Dylan Dennis got in a bar fight. There's also a grappling thing that happened.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so let's move on to recaps.
Yeah, let's do it. Subversiv, number 2.
Damn, Neil, jump right.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this one, Maine. Subversiv number 2 happened in Los Angeles, California, on July 13th, and it paid out $38,949 in salaries and commissions.
That's the only time anyone else in the show has ever read the payout amount.
I just felt like doing it this time.
That's fine. That's good. I miss you, Emil. So Subversiv, if you're not familiar with it, basically what it is it's a usually it's like it's a smaller fight to win card, and then at the head of the card is a 5v5 team championship bout. And last time it was 4 teams, like quintet style, where one team eliminates another team, then the other team on the other side of the bracket eliminates the other team. This time it was only a single team, Team Red Bowie versus Team 10th Planet.
Yeah, so this is, just to clarify, it doesn't have quintet rule set. So the way Subversiv 5-on-5 teams work is basically there are different weight classes for each of the 5 fights that occur. And then each match will, depending on how the match goes, it will count as a point for the team if you win, right? So yeah. And it's the overall rule set is EBI rules, which we'll be talking about.
It's fight to win rules, and then it's EBI overtime.
Got it.
Which it's sort of like,
well, it's not quite fight to win rules, right? Because if like basically there are not decisions, right? It only goes to overtime.
Yeah, so it's sub only rules with EBI overtime. I misspoke there.
Right. But that's EBI rules.
Yeah, you might have been correct from the jump there, Emil. My bad.
So yeah, it's a switch from from how Fight to Win normally does it, but it is great because I'm really digging these team on team kind of events that we're starting to see more and more now. It's such a great way to like really build narrative into the
event. Like you just like you get to follow a team. This one, so it's the first team, and we'll talk about how it got a little weird. This event, this particular one, only having 2 teams got a little weird. And let's actually just jump right into that. Basically,
yeah. But I want to talk, just say one more thing about this kind of format that's dope. Is like it feels like a fucking kung fu movie, or can, right, where you have like one school and one style versus the other school and the other style. And I mean, what we're seeing really is 10th Planet has done really well in these formats, right? And part of that is, they're one of the few true schools, or like family of schools that competes. What we see a lot are these weird like super teams that show up. Like,
no, I fucking love super teams.
I love super teams.
Don't talk shit about super teams.
I do. But I'm saying that there's not like a cohesive kind of like thing going on. Like Team Red Bowie has great names, huge competitors that
but I don't think any of them train together.
Yeah, they don't train together. It's less cool, right? Like, it's cool that 10th Planet can go out there and rep themselves as a school and win.
Dude, I would love to see like Team Atos versus Team 10th Planet.
Okay, yeah.
Or Team like Unity versus Team 10th. Like that would be. I want to see gyms that like can field a field of high level guys, of monsters versus like the Team 10th Planet guys.
Yeah, the thing about Atos is that they skew heavy. So I wonder who, like they'd have to put in some of their they have a lot of huge names, but you can't have like Kanan and fucking Hulk, going out on the same team because they're both huge.
Yeah.
Right.
But they have like very few guys that we're aware of at like 45 to like 80 or 70 probably.
Yeah.
That whole weight class is really Atos is definitely skews heavy. Like you have Christian Woodmansey at Atos, but he's like
the only person I can think of.
It's a 25er.
And I guess, if they could get the Mendes brothers, to come in, then
you're never going to get them to come out of retirement.
That would be so boss, though. Could you imagine? That would be like WWF level shit. If it's like, is that Atos music playing? Oh my God, they brought back the Mendes brothers. That'd be fucking dope. Or if like the Danaher Death Squad fucking like all teamed up again. Like you had fucking Gary Tonin coming back from MMA. You had Eddie Cummings fucking jumping back from
Nicky
Unity.
Ryan coming in.
Yo, that would be fucking awesome. Tell me that would be amazing.
Now you got me excited about the team format way more. Dude, I love the team format. So, all right, so let's get into some of the matches again. It's the first team to get to 3 victories, and the way it was set up here, Team 10th Planet gets to 3 in the first 3 matches. So the last 2 matches are basically just super fight matches.
Yeah, this is one thing. Why don't we go through the matches and then we can kind of recap like how
the good and the bad,
and kind of like how the rule set went.
So let's go to the first match. Elvira Karpenen defeats Patty Fontes via heel hook, and
that was fucking lightning fast.
Dude, she just jumps her into the saddle, and then I was like, "Ooh, this is a rough spot." And Patty defends for a pretty significant like length of time, and I was really impressed with her defense there. But Elvira kind of walks her down.
I was like a little bit less impressed. Like there were times where Patty looked a little lost, and her hands were kind of like. They weren't exactly hovering, but they weren't fighting. They were just kind of resting, and she was like observing, Elvira's attacks, and I feel like you really can't do that with leg attack. Like the moment someone stops and stares, like I take this back because Geo actually did this for a little bit, but Geo's on a different level, and
with heel hooks and leg stuff.
Yeah, he's stopping because I think he knows where he's safe and where he's not safe. In this case, it looked a lot more like Patty was staring because she was like, I don't know what this is. Like it looked at just a little bit like that. And Elvira was doing some really nice adjustments. Like, she gets to a full saddle and then goes for the far leg for the heel hook and kind of wraps both legs up and then starts like, alternating her attacks and is able to eventually roll over and secure an inside heel hook. And by the way, this all took 90 seconds, right? So like
it was that quick.
It was that quick.
I also watched this like live, so it was 1 a.m. when I was watching this. Yeah. So it was late.
It was really fast. So
so you have Team 10th Planet at that point up 1-0 on Team Red Bowie, and you move into the second match.
Right. So second match, we have Kyle Baim defeating Gabriel Almeida by rear naked choke in overtime. So this match opens up with actually there's a point where Gabriel double legs Kyle to the edge of the mat.
By the way,
and the ref off the mat.
You've done that in so many shows.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Gabriel. You've done it like
that name in general. Like I don't know. I
think you read it. It's just funny because I've heard you do it like in so many times. Whenever we cover a Gabriel, almost for sure one time you're gonna say.
You know
Gabriel.
What it is? It's like I never like. Gabriels never go by Gabriel. They go by Gabe, right? So, like, I'm used to saying Gabe and seeing Gabe, and if I see the name fully spelled out, I go to the soft A.
That's reasonable.
That's it.
I'm also not really a guy to give anyone shit on name pronunciation, as I'm the resident name butcherer of the team.
Anyway, so Gabriel double legs Kyle to the edge of the mat and double legs the ref off the mat. So there's a lot of stand up in the beginning. It takes like 3 or 4 minutes really to get to guard, and it's lots of open guard at this point with Kyle playing really kind of very dexterous open guard, Gabriel doing a lot of improvised passing. The commentators were kind of like mixing their lingo up a little bit. It was a little kind of like it not confusing, but it just took me out of the match a little bit. Like they said, oh, when this goes to decision, it'll go to overtime. And it's like,
right.
It doesn't go to decision and then go to overtime. It just, you finish regulation time, it goes to overtime.
Yeah, some of the nomenclature was a little interesting there.
So anyway, it ends up going to overtime, and Gabriel starts on the back, and Kyle gets out in seconds. Like, just rolls out, no problem, gets his back to the mat, and then comes up. So then Kyle opts for the back, and he follows the rolls of Gabriel beautifully. I mean, you can tell the 10th Planet guys drilled the shit out of this fucking position. Like, this was... I need to go back and watch this. And I would honestly, like... They've posted video of the 10th Planet guys, like Geo, doing positionally specific training. I think there's some video of, like, Eddie Cummings and them doing that back in the day, too. I need to, like, watch how they drill that, because it's so slick. And
I think it's honestly, I'm way more interested, not from the escape perspective, like personally, which is probably where I should be putting my time, but I'm interested from the control perspective for guys that are able to actually, like, that are actually attacking in that position, because you watch, they do a lot of really interesting stuff with their shoulders and the way that, like, they keep square.
And their hooks, like, you know, doing, like, outside hooks and things like that.
Yeah. Well, like, you can lose a hook and they can keep the position. It's really interesting. It's like...
In fact, sometimes they will in fact, a lot of times they'll deliberately unhook one leg and then put it around on the outside for better control.
Yeah. It's really interesting, like, that the whole kind of escaping the back meta has gotten really, really, really advanced since, like, EBI has come around probably like 5 years ago.
So Kyle... follows Gabriel's roll beautifully. He gets a body lock with his legs and then cranks the face for a very nice rear naked choke finish really, really quickly. So that was a really phenomenal finish in overtime. But it also, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, it just, even though the technique is really nice, it just, the narrative gets broken up.
Let's bitch about overtime at the end.
Okay.
Because Emil and I do have some kind of bitching about EBI overtime, having watched it for years and years and years at this point. We'll get to that at the end.
So Kyle Chambers defeats Ronaldo Jr. by riding time in overtime, and this is where 10th Planet is up 3-0 in team points, and they've already won the $10,000 prize. So
it was all on Rolando here, and dude, in regulation he looks really, really good. Like,
absolutely.
if you're scoring this match, he's up, like, I want to say close to 12 points or something like that. I think I kind of, like, in my head, I'm trying to work on reffing more, so I'm trying to score stuff in my head, especially if it's not points, because the ref's not giving you, like, what's points and what's not. And he's up. He's got, like, good passes. He's got mount. He gets knee on belly, and it's a 6-minute match. It's a shorter match.
It's a little bit more back and forth in the beginning. So Ronaldo's using a lot of dynamic passing. Kyle Chambers' guard recovery is on a different level.
Dude, he's got those long, long legs, and he just pummels his legs through. And we saw a lot of the 10th Planet guys, like, really, really get that, like, the low back guard, and they're just able to, like, walk the legs. It's that, like, really high level guard recovery where it's so hard to get around the legs.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like with lanky guard players, I feel like doing tight leg weaves or leg drags is the way to do it, because you want to be tight in on them.
You can't, with lanky dudes.
You can't go around the side.
No, you just don't see it. Like, no. It's super rare. When it happens, you're like, oh my, it's this amazing moment, because it's just it's so rare to see someone, like,
cut the corner on them
on a lanky guy, because they can just they have to cut such a smaller angle to make their back up at the legs. You see guys getting smash passed, and so again we saw that here. Getting around Kyle's legs is hard at that range.
Right, but towards the end of regulation time, Ronaldo hits a beautiful knee cut pass. I mean, there's 40 seconds left. Go back and watch this. He basically teleports through the guard, and he gets to mount. He initially was attacking side control, grabbing the arm for looked like an armbar setup, gets to mounted triangle, and at this point there's like 10 seconds left, and he just rolls for the triangle finish. And it was an awesome sequence and a very dominating sequence. And he's just, at this point, just throwing up, or not throwing up, I should say, but he rolls from a mounted triangle to a regular triangle to try to get the choke in the last seconds. And Kyle pops his head out and he starts like celebrating. And like, I was like, dude, like, no, man, like he just did a sequence on you that demolished your guard and put you in serious danger. And because it was the last seconds, he was going for it when he didn't have everything like completely secured.
On the other end, he did just win 10 grand for his team though.
Well, not at this point. He didn't know that.
Oh,
that
right.
was just the end of regulation time.
Right, because it said overtime.
So it was just like a, like, I don't know.
It was an interesting moment.
Like celebrating for an escape is just a weird thing to do. Especially like when it comes off of like getting your guard demolished, someone, mounting you and then, doing a mounted triangle. But anyway, so it goes to overtime, and at this point, it's just riding time. There's no way to really like cover that in an exciting way.
It's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah. One person escaped faster than the other person over the course of what, like 6 minutes or
on to the next match.
Yeah.
We had DJ Jackson defeating Ruben Rivera.
Also by riding time.
By riding time.
So typical kind of DJ Jackson match, heavy pressure from DJ.
He's able to get around though.
Yeah, yep.
And he starts to actually we see some of Jackson's top game here, which I liked a lot. And like you realize like this is the match you realize why he's called the Kimura Kid, but like Jackson has an underrated, dangerous Kimura game, and I'm really was kind of impressed with like Ruben's ability to kind of keep it in, because we've seen Jackson sub, very, very good black belts with that topside Kimura, and he snaps it out really aggressively and is able to get away from the body, but he's not able to do it here on Ruben. Ruben does a really good job of keeping everything flat and like keeping Jackson being able to get really, really tight grip on that Kimura once he gets to the top.
So DJ wins this match in overtime. And yeah, I guess he gets like a moral victory, but his team has already lost.
Yeah. And then the final match, we had Geo Martinez defeating Joao Miyao via rear naked choke in the first round of overtime. Really quick, actually.
Yeah, real quick. This was a great match.
This was a great super fight match too.
It was. It's just a good match.
At this point, the last two matches are super fight matches, and honestly, like they were fun.
Yeah, they were great.
Honestly, Jackson's match was a little faster paced than we're actually used to seeing Jackson work. It was kind of nice. He's getting down. You definitely see his speed is increased since he's down at 165 now.
Yeah, I was a little bit less thrilled by that, but the Geo versus Joao match was just awesome. So, Joao hits. So part of the reason why I like this match so much is we get to see Joao evolve real time, right? Like, so we talked about this a little bit earlier in the news. When someone leaves a gym and goes to a new gym and bringing that style and also learning a new style, it just creates an interesting dynamic.
Eddie Cummings went to Unity, and Miyao trains at Unity.
And we're starting to see Miao's leg lock game get really sophisticated.
Really, the entries too. Like
the
what was
entries
super
are
impressive
slick,
here was like how he entered, and then you saw the way in which he transitioned from the legs and like pummeled the legs with his hands was like.
So the first thing that he did was like he's now augmenting his already dangerous game, which is just, it's so awesome to see this. He goes for a Barambola on Geo, and Geo does a really nice back step to get out of this. And Joao's ready for this and snaps a toe hold on. It's just it's so great to see, like that kind of adjustment. And to tell you the truth, it could be something that Joao was already kind of wise to before Eddie Cummings got there, but what we see throughout the rest of the match is definitely you see overall he is going for legs.
He's much more willing to go for the legs here. And like the toe hold, the commentator staff was really they talked about it well, was like, yeah, it's going to be really hard for either of these guys to tap each other with a leg lock. Like both of them have gummy feet, and it was like toe hold was tight, but I was like, there's you're going to have to break both of these guys' feet to get them to tap, and they still probably won't tap.
So we see Joao getting Kyotera straight ankle lock grip. He doesn't go for that, but then he goes for regular straight ankle off of another, and he goes for another inverted toe hold. Geo responds with a headlock, and I don't know what the hell happened. Joao just starts grinning. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like he just starts cheesing. It's so unnatural. I'm used to this stoic
He smiled, and I was like, okay, I'm a little freaked out right now. I don't know why he's smiling.
Yeah, it's just a good back and forth. Like, you could tell Joao was having fun, which is just crazy.
And these guys have met before. I think Joao took the first one, so like this was an awesome match, honestly.
Yep.
Like, I was really, really impressed with Geo and with Miyao here. Like, we've seen Geo did what Geo does, which is like those foot entanglements, comfort. He's not gonna tap to basically anything, and Joao does what Joao does. Look for the back, good passing. But I like watching Joao develop because we've seen probably 2012, he was a bolo guy. Yeah. Maybe not 2012, but like a little after that, bolo, back, that's what he's looking for. And then like probably 2 years ago, we started to see him like top game and like getting really good at passing. And now we're starting to see him like, cool, I'm happy to go into the footlocks with a dangerous footlocker like Martinez. Like, I think this was the first match that I've seen from Joao where he was willingly into those foot exchanges on his terms.
Them and not doing them like opportunistically, but setting them up.
Oh, I'm looking for this leg lock now, as opposed to I'll take it if it's there, because we've seen him like, he's not a stranger. We've seen him tap guys before with like leg locks, but it looked like he was doing them on his own terms this time, and that was a different shift that I haven't seen a lot from Joao.
Yeah, so towards the end of the match, Geo actually attempts a saddle from his own inverted guard, but he can't knock Joao over to pull the leg out in order to get the grip. And Joao responds by jumping into a saddle of his own. So he's again just hunting leg attacks. So it's really cool. It goes to overtime, and Geo gets a rear naked choke in 20 seconds or something?
I think it was 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was dumb fast.
It was like bup, and I looked, I was like, okay, he's not gonna get, oh shit, he got him.
Yeah. And so Joao had a chance to respond, but getting an RNC on someone in 15 seconds is fucking hard.
Especially a dude like Martinez.
Yeah.
Like a dude that has trained in those. How many EBIs has Geo been in?
Yeah.
4?
Something.
5?
Probably.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Like he's been in a bunch of them, and like I've seen him finished in overtime. He might have been. I don't recall. Like, he's not a dude we see get finished with any degree of frequency. And we've seen him in fucking deep water. So, like, that's time, 15 seconds. So, Martinez takes it in overtime.
Yep.
Really, really great match. Definitely, I want to say, match of the card from everything I saw.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt.
Definitely want to go back and watch. So, do you want to go into the bitching section about EBI overtime? Or do you want to do the rest of the card first and bitch at the end?
We'll talk. It makes sense contextually here, right? So, like,
getting fancy, man.
The fucking overtime, like,
here's why. Here's my big problem with the overtime is I see what purpose it used to serve when EBI first came out and we were looking for a decisive victor to move forward in a tournament. But as a viewer nowadays, the thing that kind of gets me is when someone ends up on the back or ends up with the arm, like the stakes are high, but I'm not interested in the stakes anymore because I didn't see the person be able to get to position. I realized what makes it interesting in a narrative when I watch a match is watching someone earn a position and then seeing what they can do with the position. When you just give someone the back and give someone an arm, I'm not really as interested in like the outcome of that. Oh, he beats him. It's impressive. I don't want to take anything away from any of the competitors here.
I don't consider that a submission, right? Like I wouldn't be like, oh man, Geo submitted Joao this weekend, right? Because it's completely.
He beat him in overtime.
And he beat.
I don't want to take anything away from.
It was impressive.
Yes,
it's impressive in and of itself.
I want to make that really clear, though, that I don't want to take anything away from it because you're winning in the rule set you're competing in. My problem with it is, as a spectator, is I've seen overtime enough now where it's like I've seen enough guys, and didn't happen in this match, but get blown out of the water in regulation and then end up in a position they were never able to earn, and then get a choke or get a ride time victor. And it's like it turns into a grappling match where I was looking for who was the better grappler to a match of who has the better rear naked choke and armbar.
And not only that, but like the reason why this rule set came about, right? And at the time it made sense and I supported it. But it was the answer to people gaming points, right? Like the whole idea behind this is you don't have to go to points or any kind of weird decisions or anything like that where people try to game certain things, right? So in points, they'll lock a position down and just hold it for a long time.
Which is terrible
Or
to watch.
People will game ads, right? So it's like, okay, we're going to get rid of the gaming of that. Well, now it's just all it's done is created a new thing for people to game. And so I'm not saying that this happened egregiously in these matches, but we've seen it before where someone gets their asses whooped in regulation time.
But
a submission
on it before.
A submission doesn't come through, and then they can pull it out in overtime. And especially if that win in overtime is from like ride time, it's just it's not satisfying, you know. And it's all that has happened is that there's a new set of rules for people to game. So that's the first point that I want to make. And the second point that I want to make is, especially in the team format, we've already seen a very nice answer to having to determine a winner, like winner or draw, you know, and we've seen that in quintet, where the draws so far have not taken away from the events, right? Like the fact that draws occur in quintet, I still think it's amazing, and I don't feel dissatisfied with draws because the event still keeps going and the teams still keep competing.
Yeah.
And the other thing about that rule set that's nice is that it makes you want to watch till the last match, because even though it's a long shot, the team can win even if they have one person left.
Right.
And
now, this is kind of where you and I disagree a little bit. Is like I do like this format for like what it is, that you have. I don't have to watch Satoshi Ishii go against Geo Martinez, because it's like, okay, that's gonna be a really tough match for anyone. Like I get to go watch him go against an interesting guy at his weight class. You get to mix men and women up in the same bracket. Like I like what it does offer. It's
true.
I think there's something needed there.
That's a good counterpoint. I will say that the worst case scenario happened tonight, where one team goes 3-0 off the bat, and from a team standpoint, the last two matches didn't matter, right?
Right.
So
I enjoyed the shit out of them. Like I like watching JJ Jackson. I like watching Joao. I like watching Geo. Like they were great matches, but you've kind of already watched the team in that subversive team format
exactly
take the victory, and it's like the last two matches are super fights, which I'm super happy to see. But they didn't have any weight in the team format, which was kind of like a little disappointing.
Right. So anyway, that's that.
But for sure, I don't want to take anything from the match. It's like Geo and Joao is a barn burner, great match, and there were some other really great matches at the event.
Absolutely.
Go back and watch it because it was super fun.
And I definitely want to see more of these team.
Oh yeah.
You know, like actually, I saw Seth on Instagram was doing a great job stirring shit up. And he brought up a good point, which is like everyone thought 10th Planet was going to get smoked. And I'll admit, like, I would not have picked them, you know, like I didn't record last week to give my 2 fucking cents. But I would not have predicted. I'm honestly surprised, and it's dope. We have seen them win in quintet before, so we know that they are really good as a team. And they have a ton of really good talent.
And then Seth trolled the shit out of everyone.
He trolled the shit out of everyone, and he was like, hey, you know, all you people that said that this wouldn't happen, like those teams, put up or shut up, basically. He was like, it's a great way to just antagonize people into, you know, showing up and seeing if they can put their money where their mouths is, which is what I want to see. I want to see all these teams come in.
I like the weight class thing. Like I really want to stress how much I like that.
I like that a ton, because as we were just talking about, it's like Atos, for example, hypothetically could show up. It's like could they really show up in every weight class? Mm-hmm. Like who knows? You know, like it's just a fucking curious thing, and I love seeing that.
I also like that I get to see like guys compete against guys at their weight. So it's like I get to see a representation of like what he looks like against like a regular dude.
Stop lying. We all know you like a freak show.
I do like me a freak show.
We all know you like a freak show.
Yeah, Emil, but
stop pretending like you like fair shit.
In the back,
like you don't love PEDs. Like you don't love Japan rules.
I do.
Yeah, everyone does.
That being said, for the purity of the sport, Emil, I appreciate it. So let's move into the black belt results for the rest of the Subversiv 2 card.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start with this one?
Let's start at just the top of the listed results.
All right.
We have Cohen Barboza defeating Fabio Ternad by choke.
And that was submission of the night for the black belt.
So this was Fabio's second night match of the night, actually. And he wastes no time at all. He launches into a knee bar and then viciously fights for a toe hold. But he gets like tunnel vision, and he doesn't adjust or pay attention to the fact that Barboza is gradually taking his back. It's like so slow. It's like watching a python like strangle a deer. And he just starts coming up on the back.
I'm gonna get there.
And then, but he just slams his arm across, and that's when Fabio realizes he's in danger is when the arm is already across his neck, getting the cross collar grip, and Barboza just finishes the choke. Then next match we have Jose Gutierrez defeating Jordan. They kept saying Jordan Holly.
I think it's Jordan Holy, isn't it?
They were just saying.
Yeah, it's Jordan Holy. Via split decision, and that was fight of the night for the black belts.
So this was mostly Joe passing with a couple of saddle attempts, and 5 minutes in, Jose gets a brutal body lock from the back and face crank, but Jordan is able to, get out of back but into mount. And in the last seconds, Jordan goes for a toe hold that forces Jose to roll really fucking
Jordan's
hard.
got real good footlocks. That's why we were really excited to see him versus the Marvin Castelle at Third Coast, because both dudes are really known for footlocks. So Jordan's, when he grabs your foot, that's something you've really got to respect. And you see Jose here,
Gutierrez had to roll real fucking hard.
Had to address it in a big way.
And so I was like, oh, that's a really strong statement to make at the end of the match. But Jose had done enough by that point to secure the decision. We have next match, Kleber Luciano defeating Peter Kahn by Kimura. We have Michael John defeating Noah Tillis by guillotine. We have Nathalie Ribeiro defeating Liz Ezel by choke. And this is an awesome match. Nathalie does an awesome knee cut to back step to side control, then does one of those really beautiful leaping headstands to go to the other side, to the far side.
Like a cartwheel pass, man?
Yeah, well, it's not a pass. She's already passed. It's just she's going.
It's that position switch that you do from one side. When you go from that top side control position on one side, and you just basically do the flare.
Yeah,
over to the other side.
You flare over.
It's legit though, because it lets you not get your legs trapped up.
Exactly.
And if someone's trying to retrap your legs, it looks super fancy, but it serves a very, very important purpose in the context of this match. You do not want to let your legs get trapped up in half guard there, and it does that.
Exactly. So she's able to get. So basically, Liz is in a fetal position, framing away on Nathalie, and rather than deal with her frame, Nathalie's just fuck that, goes to the other side and takes the back. And she gets the bow and arrow grip with the arm trapped in, which is just such a fucking gangster way to finish. And she gets the tap.
It's a slick finish.
It's such a dope finish.
Yeah.
So I actually think that this should have been submission of the night, but hey, it was fucking dope.
It was a slick submission. I was a big fan of it.
It was really nice. So next match we have Stefan Martinez defeating Donald Bailey by armbar. We have Victor Silvero defeating Thiago Lemos by decision. We have Kevin Casey defeating Gokor Ambarian by decision. We have Bruno Valdivino de Cavallo defeating Jimmy Tat by decision. Omar Saba defeating Marcelo Lucena by decision.
So let's talk about the judo results.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Dude, they put the judo at the end of the night, and I was like, yo, this is dope. I guarantee you, in a little bit here, they're going to run an all judo card. I feel like they're doing it.
Yeah, they're building up. There are 5 judo matches in this. They're great.
They were fire fucking matches.
I think it's such a great addition to the cards. I'm so glad that judo's
the pacing on the judo matches is I think we've seen a couple of them that have been it was okay. 90%, I think, on all the judo matches, they're fucking crazy. Those dudes are going. We see a giant, I forget what, we see a giant lift and a huge slam in this judo. I was honestly kind of I was excited about Super Fight Judo, and then having watched a bunch of Fight to Win Subversiv cards that have it on, I'm all, it makes me want to go train judo.
Yeah.
Every time I go wide, it's fuck, I want to go do that giant throw to some guy on a big ass stage.
Well, dude, you might want to let your back heal up a little bit.
I also would like to put on my shoes without pain first, so I have my priorities straight. But that being said, Fight to Win Judo gets me amped about watching judo in a way that I always like judo, but damn, they're fun to watch.
So let's get into it. We got David Dunphy defeating Luis Claudio by choke.
And that was submission of the night for the judo matches.
So there's a failed drop Soinage by Luis who turtles up, and David goes for a crucifix, which is just, it's so dope to see, people, judoka are just going for the kill, especially with Newaza. They only have 30 seconds to work. And so you better be fucking
if
going
a guy's
for sub.
going for if a guy turtles and a judo guy decides to actually go for it,
it's violent.
Yeah,
it's fast.
I've never been kicked in the back of the face so much by people going for arm bars off like failed throws. Like,
Yeah.
it's that transition just is murderous.
So David goes for the crucifix and gets it, and he gets the cross collar, gets to the back, and gets the choke. It's a great fucking sequence.
Deservedly submission of the night for the judo matches.
So then we have Brian Mendez defeating German Echeverria by armbar.
That was a really good pronunciation of that name.
Oh,
Props
shit.
to you.
Well, yeah. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. We have Chris Zakarian defeating Denis Trofimov by 2 ippons.
Let's talk about Zakarian's like giant lifting throws here.
Holy shit, dude. Like throwing him like a sack of potatoes.
What throw is that?
I mean that's just I don't know the Japanese name. That's just a fucking high crotch single, like, or not even single. I don't even know what to call it. It's like an overhead. Like,
basically what he does is he grabs like one leg and then he just lifts him straight up and then throws him over.
Yeah, I think it's a high crotch, like in wrestling parlance. But yeah, it's no, they do.
Oh yeah,
that's what
it's called.
That's like Rob's favorite throw in wrestling.
We see DC hits it all the time.
Yeah.
It's
DC
that DC throw, which is like fuck you.
Exactly, like he gets his grip and it gives you a really nice lifting leverage, right?
Because you have the groin in the way, and you can't.
Exactly.
And the guy has to basically, once you've lifted him up like a couple inches, all of a sudden he can't like adjust because you're holding him completely unless they start framing on the face. But if you're at a side angle, it's really hard to make the angle to do again.
The other nice thing about it is like you engage your legs a lot more than like another, a comparable Greco kind of grip where you're using your back a lot more. Like you can really, it's kind of like perfect. Yeah, it's exactly. It's a perfect lifting form where you bend the knees, you get low, you get your nice grip, and you're not going to slip. Like your hands are connected.
You have a nice gable grip.
And holy shit, these throws are hard.
Dude, Chris Zakarian hits Dennis with one of the best throws I've ever seen a fight to win.
Yeah, it's like feet, not just feet off the ground, like feet pointing up at the ceiling, and both people landing.
This is why
Zakarian lands on top of him.
This throw is why I was excited to see Fight to Win Judo, because I knew that we would start seeing throws like this happen more frequently, and it would highlight like that showcase super fight judo.
Yeah.
Watch this match.
Yeah.
Even if it's for that throw alone, like that is ippon of Fight to Win so far.
Absolutely. And it's great too because it the throw lasts like maybe a couple seconds because it takes a while, but you just know like it's happening and you're just like, all right, this guy's going fucking sailing right now.
Just beautiful technique.
So next match we have Tetsuya Numata defeating Angel Miraz by decision.
And that was fight of the night for the judo matches.
So this is dope. It's like Tetsuya just going for a blast double off the bat. And then he gets a foot sweep at one point, Angel turtles. And Tetsuya just does this neck crank that is so fucking violent. Like he doesn't have any kind of positioning at all. No no hooks on the back, no like crab ride, nothing. He's literally on the side of him from turtle and he just grabs his face and it looks like he's just bottle capping him?
Bottle topping
him. Like he just fucking twists his head back like
I'm going to bend this in a way it shouldn't go.
Exactly. It just looked brutal. And then he's able to transition that into a really nice Japanese-style collar choke finish. The whole match is really fast-paced, as Maine was talking about. These judo matches are no joke. They absolutely are going for a finish. Next match, we have Alexandra Dos Santos defeating Tybran Lee by 2 ippons.
So that does it for the black belts. On to the brown belts.
So we have Joao Marco defeating Fletcher Kirwan by armbar.
And that was submission of the night for the brown belts.
Albert Tapia defeats Tim Hirata by north and south choke. Connor...
You say north and south choke?
Sorry, yeah. I'd just been talking about the book North and South with a friend of mine. North-south choke. Connor Donaldson defeating Brent Buskirk by Kimura. Kay Hansen defeating Carissa Sigala by mounted guillotine. Jessa Jada Khan defeating Tabitha Ritchie by armbar. Andrew Ryan Murillo defeating Craig Wellander by heel hook. Joe Warner defeating PJ Montano by choke. Christoph Sucks defeating Johnny Ho by armbar. Mike Kachikayan defeating Danny Pena by footlock. Richard Lopez defeating Morgan Smith by cross choke. Guillermo Brazito defeating Juan Adolfo Lopez by decision. Mike Carrasco defeating Richard Ariola by decision. Ethan Vistro defeating Wes Levine by decision.
And that was fight of the night for the brown belts. On to the purple belt results. Only a few of them.
Claire Chung defeating Jamila Weaver by decision.
And that was fight of the night for the purple belts.
Mustafa Saba defeating Anthony Aguilera by decision. And Vinicius Aquillo defeating William Padilla by decision.
Watch this match. The judo matches were fucking fire. The black belt matches were great. Subversiv was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely watch this card. It's fucking dope.
Looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely.
So that does it for the recap section. On to the preview section. Stick around after the preview section. We're going to have an interview with Sub Stars. So tune to that. It's going to be awesome. So right now we're going to preview Fight to Win 118 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This event takes place on July 20th and starts at 6 p.m. and is main evented by a 160-pound black belt gi match, Kennedy Maciel versus Marcio Andre. Andre.
Kennedy being Cobrinia's kid, we talked about him a lot. He's now competing at black belt. He got his black belt a little while ago, and it's super fucking exciting to see. You know, I'm glad to see him headlining stuff.
He just won something this weekend, some like not smaller. I think was it BJJ Pro or something else?
Can't remember.
He just won something this weekend. Like Marcio Andre is a perennial top dude.
Yeah,
like been around for a while. Being awesome for a while. Like this is a dope matchup. Honestly, I always forget how small Kennedy is. Like it's only a 160-pound matchup.
I mean, Cobrinia's not a big guy, you know.
Yeah, no, he's lanky.
Big.
Yeah, he's got that lanky, like big, like T build for his shoulders. So I always want to say he's like 170 or something like that. But so co-main event, we have a 135-pound black belt gi title, Jose Carlos Lima versus Tomoyuki Hashimoto. I love watching Tomoyuki Hashimoto compete.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a fucking awesome match. The two headliners are worth it in and of themselves.
Oh, and the co-main event.
Fucking Talita Alencar versus Amanda Montiero. That's going to be great.
Female black belt gi title at 125. That's going to be exciting. That is not a sleeper match. It's on the main card. It's on the top of the main card. That's a match to definitely pay attention to. 215-pound black belt gi bout.
Nate Howe versus Oscar Hip.
180-pound black belt gi bout.
Isaiah Wright versus Gleison Freitas.
175-pound no gi bout.
Roland Larson versus Vicente McKeeve.
165-pound black belt gi bout.
Joao Alfredo Tavares Marinho versus Ryan Pottenbaum.
We have a 150-pound black belt gi match.
Kelly Johnson versus Marvin Bloomer.
We have a 225-pound brown belt no gi bout.
David Zvrizu versus Jackson McVeigh.
And there's a bunch of other brown belt matches on the card. Dude, those top matchups looks good. This whole card looks like a lot of fun. Minneapolis is a thing. Is a place we see them go. I think about twice a year they're there. Definitely a card to look out for and should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So on to our preview of Sub Stars. This event takes place on the Mindset.tv. I want to say it's like a $10 pay-per-view. We're going to talk about more about that during the interview section. So this event is main evented by a matchup that is a lot of fun. Enrico Coco versus Dante Leon.
Yeah, that's just fucking fire. We've talked a lot about Dante Leon.
And Enrico Coco. We've seen him on a bunch of stuff recently.
Dante is one of the fighters that, like, you know, at the end of the year, kind of last year, we were talking about it. And
he made that switch into like kind of the upper level of competition, be able to really compete against those upper level guys.
Not just like the level of competition, just how exciting his matches are. Like Dante Leon's matches are generally really fucking fun.
And he's looking for the sub. We saw him on King of Match. We've seen him on Kasai. We've seen him on like Pick Your Card. We've seen him on it, and that dude deserves to main event. Enrico Coco, another guy like fast paced, fun action fighter, like. This is going to be a really, really fun matchup. Again, Dante is super hard to beat in one-off matches.
Yeah.
And he's a powerhouse, and he's coming off of the matchup with Canuto.
Too.
Yeah. We've seen him get rear naked chokes, seen him get footlocks. Like, he's pretty dangerous.
He'll invert. He'll go wherever he needs to go. So this should be really awesome. The venue is the Tank Brewery in Miami, Florida, so that should be really interesting.
The co-main event for this is Joao Miyao versus Marvin Castelle.
Yeah. What more is there to say? Joao Miyao is a fucking powerhouse in his own
world
right.
champion.
Yeah.
The current IBJJF gi world champion.
Yeah.
And Marvin Castelle has the most watched jiu-jitsu heel hook highlight in the past decade.
Yeah, that's right. He's got the Imanari roll. Marvin is perennially on various formats, various cards. We saw him also do a little bit of a run in the ADCC trials too.
I think so. Yep.
So
seen him in trials. We've seen him in Third Coast versus Holy, Jordan Holy a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Seen him on Fight to Win. We've seen him and again, all the guys nowadays that are main eventing super fight cards, we see a lot. They compete a lot. They're on cards a lot. If you're main eventing a super fight nowadays, it's a good ass matchup typically. Yeah. So under that, we have the Nicky Rodriguez challenge. We're going to talk about more how this challenge is structured in the interview section, but Nick Rodriguez versus Quinten Rosenzweig. I really hope I didn't fuck up Quinten's last name.
Yeah.
This is going to be an awesome matchup.
Yep, absolutely. Nicky is super dynamic. We saw him just go on a tear at ADCC trials, not just winning, but in dramatic fashion.
Impressive fashion. Quinten is a dude we've seen a lot. We've seen him heel hook and footlock people on all sorts of rule sets, all sorts of promotions. I think he is probably Nicky Rodriguez's biggest matchup that he's had to date, or toughest competition.
Possibly, yeah. I absolutely think, looking over Quinten's kind of highlight reels, you see exactly how versatile he is,
and he's a quick finisher too. You see a lot of his matches. I think he finished his entire Sub Spectrum run when he was on Sub Spectrum in 90 seconds or something.
Oh yeah,
it was just he finishes, he gets to a position and he locks and he heel hooks and he's super good at it. Nick Rodriguez has that awesome takedown game. He's super dynamic. He's been pathwaying to the back. This is a real good matchup. This is definitely a style versus style matchup. Pressure heavy wrestling versus that inversion and footlock game.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it pressure. I'd say explosiveness. Really, Nicky is.
Yeah. Sorry.
If I had to describe Nick Rodriguez in any fashion, it's explosive, hands down. He's all over the place, and he's huge too. It's really alarming.
230.
Yeah,
and he moves a middleweight or a lightweight.
Oh, lightweight easily.
Yeah, he doesn't move like a dude that size. So this is a super fun matchup. Rosenzweig is probably going to pull, and Rodriguez is going to work his ass off to get to the back, and so it'll be really interesting to see. I assume that Quinten's going to be able to get him into some leg entanglements. I want to see how he deals with those.
He's going to want to tie him up as quickly as possible because Nicky, he had that amazing cartwheel pass that we talked ad nauseum about.
To win at ADCC.
It was the first and last time I've seen a cartwheel pass actually work, right?
So I'm super excited for this matchup. This matchup alone is worth the price of admission for the pay-per-view for the card.
Hell yeah.
So Nick Rodriguez is also against two other people. He's against Lucas Lira Costa, who is the, I want to say, blue belt third place at the Worlds this last year in the gi. I forget what gym he's out of, but again, you're winning at the world stage. You're a legit competitor, and he's also against Michael. Give me the last name there.
Caicedo, I think.
Caicedo as well. So again, we'll explain more how this works out in the interview section. Let's see. Under that, we have a matchup, 165-pound super fight matchup.
Mauricio Gomez versus Jake Ferreira. We have 110-pound super fight. Gi and no gi. Weird. Giovanna Burano versus Simone Lee.
And then we have a bunch of other super fights on the card. Danielle Kelly's on the card. Looks like a super fun event. Tune in immediately after this to hear the interview.
Yeah.
So how you doing? We got Alex here from Sub Stars. He's going to run through some information about the Sub Stars event and basically tell us about what's happening this weekend. So how you doing, Alex?
I'm good. How are you doing, Maine?
I'm doing real good. So my first question I always ask is, how'd you come up with the rules for Sub Stars? And what are the rules for the event? What's the format?
The problem that I saw in grappling tournaments that I was competing in was it wasn't very exciting to watch because of the point system. And it just created a lot of stalling. And people that didn't know anything about jiu-jitsu kind of were lost and bored from my experience. And so what I wanted to do was make it more exciting somehow and change up the rules. So for our first event, we had 3 judges, AJ Souza, Leo Davila, and Bebe Monster Valdir Araujo. And it was 6 minutes. And after the 6 minutes, the only way to score a point was by back take, mount, or takedowns. Or you could submit, obviously, to win. And so by keeping it with those 4 simple areas, I feel like it kind of made it more exciting, made more the fighters focus on those techniques And those are the techniques that people recognize. Anybody will know a back take. Anybody will know a mount. Anybody will know a takedown. And obviously, anybody will know a submission. And so breaking it down to those 4 aspects, it kind of allows the spectator who doesn't really know anything about jiu-jitsu a way to be engaged and keep them engaged.
So are the rules the same for this event as they were for the last event?
No. So I would go around to different gyms and talk to different gym owners and just get a lot of feedback from people of their favorite rule sets, from different events that they competed over the years. And after that first event, we had it was a no time limit, submission only finals. And our first match went on for 45 minutes. And so it was great. They put on a show, but that's a long time. And the viewers obviously need to be entertained. And so we wanted to change it up a little bit. So what we liked was the 1 minute first to score overtime. So the second event, we did 6 minutes submission only. We got rid of the judges, and we did 1 minute first to score overtime rounds. However, that was good until we saw a couple competitors just butt scoot towards the people or run away from people. And so we needed to and they would immediately pull guard, or some people would immediately pull guard each 1 minute overtime rounds. So that would negate the wrestlers or anybody that focused on their judo or takedown games. And so it was fun. It was a good tournament, but we obviously wanted to modify it for the next event. So the third event, boom, we changed it again to same thing, 6 minutes, submission only, 1 minute first to score overtime rounds. However, this time around we did 1 guard pull, and that the whole overtime. And so we wanted to keep the action on the feet. We wanted to keep the action going, and that worked out pretty well for us. And so that event, and then following that, the next 2 events, we kept it as 6 minute submission only with 1 minute first to score overtime rounds and 1 guard pull once you go into overtime.
Cool. So can you explain?
Now?
Yep.
Sorry. So last event, we did that, and then in 2 of the matches, there was around 14 overtime rounds, 1 minute each. And so although they were exciting, it really turned into, and with the 1 guard pull, it kind of turned into a wrestling match. And so we obviously want to keep true to the jiu-jitsu theme and allowing people to use their favorite guard style or whatever game they're trying to play. So this time around, we're going to have the first 2 overtime rounds start standing. And then if nobody scores, we're going to flip a coin. Whoever wins the coin toss is going to pick their favorite position, top or bottom, and then conduct a 1 minute overtime round. And then if nobody scores, then the other person gets to choose their favorite guard position, and so on and so forth. And so in our minds, we feel like the people, we get to see somebody's favorite guard position, top or bottom. And if you're starting in your favorite position, then you'll have a higher percentage of actually scoring a point instead of people just defending takedowns round after round.
Awesome. So can you explain, we talked about a little bit in the preview section, can you explain a little bit exactly what the Nicky Rod challenge is for this Substars event?
Yeah, so the Nicky Rod challenge is focusing on Nick Rodriguez, ADCC trials, West Coast trials winner. He's been training a year and kicking ass, taking names. And so that's why we wanted to give him this challenge. And basically, it's a $1,000 jackpot starting out. With every consecutive win he has, the jackpot doubles. He's going to have 3 matches at this next event, and it's going to be at least 35 minutes in between each match. What the challenge is anybody can vote. They can apply to vote. And then everybody can vote, or anybody can apply to face Nick, and then everybody can vote who they want to see fight Nick. And so the top 3 voted applicants are the ones that get to fight Nick on our show.
Awesome. So basically, each round, someone has to the first applicant that had the fewest votes goes against Nick first. He can win up to $1,000, and then either $500 for a sub or $500 for a win, or both if he's able to sub and win. And then if that doesn't happen, you go to the second applicant. They can win up to $2,000 because the pot's doubling, and then the third applicant, Quinten, we can win up to $4,000 if no one subbed to beat Nick at that time. That's awesome. That's a super exciting format. So how can everyone watch your event?
So everybody can subscribe to our media channel, the mindset.tv. We're going to be hosting all of our events, live streaming on that channel from now on, and we're also going to be having individual matches and previous events for people to watch if they want to get back and do some whatever, watch some great matches, get some education. Not only that, though, we're focusing on the media channel is all about skilled individuals and the experiences that they create. And so Sub Stars is going to be one video series on the channel. We're going to have instructional videos with one of our fighters, Giovanni Bernio. And so that we're going to be shooting that tomorrow, releasing that, shortly. And then another individual we have is Fernando Reis. He got silver medal at the Olympics, and he's going to be he's an Olympic lifter, and he's going to be doing an Olympic lifting program for jiu-jitsu. And it's not limited to there. We have Violence of Action. We're veteran owned and operated, and we're trying to do we're setting up this monthly meeting where veterans and felons and anybody really with a combat mindset can come and find their purpose. And what we do at these meetings is we have duels, call-out challenges. You need to maintain a combat mindset, and through competition, that's how you maintain it. It's rolling at your gym is great, and it gets the adrenaline pumping, but competition is a whole nother level. And so we'll have these monthly meetings, get that adrenaline, that aggression out of your system, and then afterwards we have a find purpose discussion and trying to help our fellow brothers out.
Looking forward for future events. What do you guys have planned for the future?
So our next event is November 8th, starting off Veterans Day weekend in Wynwood, the heart of Wynwood, Grow Wynwood, Patagonia. It's my dream venue. It's this outdoor half dome type looking thing, and there's Connex boxes where there's a stage, and it's going to be perfect for our new signature, which is the taiko drums, the Japanese taiko drums inside a toy gate, which will send off all of our grapplers in battle, which is what those taiko drums and the toy gate is all about. Anyway, this next event, what we're trying to do is obviously pay homage to Veterans Day. As a Marine, we got Marine Corps birthday and Veterans Day that weekend, and so we're really trying to make it big for that event, get some big names. And what we want to do is have celebrity super fights and focus on a military nonprofit charity. And so we're working on trying to line up these celebrities that might be interested. And for instance, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and Machine Gun Kelly, for instance, who's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. We went to rival high schools and graduated in class of 08. And so I would love to challenge Machine Gun Kelly for a military nonprofit charity and have that part of the event.
Awesome. So on this card, who should the viewers look at? Anyone else that's not on the main card that everyone should look out for?
Yeah, I mean, his name's getting bigger and bigger, but Mauricio Gomez. The first time I saw him was at our no-gi advanced tournament, our third tournament, and it was a round robin, split up in two weight classes, above and below 175 pounds. He entered the below 175-pound division and tapped out everybody. Top competitors at Fight Sports, and Awesome Zaidi, who's champion MMA fighter, and so that really put him on the map. After that, I had him in the main event against Enrico Coco at our last event at the Tank Brewery in April, and he put on a show. They went 14 rounds, overtime rounds, and the ending was, could have gone either way. So he really showed what he was made out of from that last event. This next one, he's going up against a really tough fighter, a really excited fighter, Jake Ferrara from GF Team, and so it's going to be an exciting matchup. So definitely check it out.
Awesome.
Mauricio Gomez from ATT Weston under Baga.
Awesome. Hey, I really appreciate the time, and thanks a lot for the interview. Appreciate it. So that does it for this week. Are you out next week, Emil? Or are you in?
I'm out next week.
Out next week. So we have a mystery host the next week.
Yeah,
one of the team will fill in a mystery host. Ooh, even I don't know who it is yet. Super professional. So yeah, dude, should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to all the events this weekend. Good to have you back. You're in the following week, right?
Yeah, I'm around.
So yeah, in the following week we're gonna have to figure out how to do that because I'm actually on vacation for the first time ever.
What? You're taking actual vacation?
I'm taking actual vacation. I'm gonna be gone,
Damn.
going up to see some family with Rachel and,
Awesome.
and my stuff. So we may actually have to put that episode on Tuesday. And I'm like, oh god, that's weird.
You mean record on Tuesday and release on Wednesday?
Yeah, Emil, that's what I meant. My bad. Yeah, because I don't know when I'm getting back on Monday, so that'll be a 2 week from now problem. We may record something in the interim, so it won't affect like the standard release schedule at all, and kind of do the main show as a midweek show. But we're still kind of talking about that. Emil and I kind of are in the process of sorting that out. But we may have a 1 day like change of release schedule next week. Or 2 weeks from now. I apologize. We're getting it sorted out. But yeah, I'm super excited. I can almost train. I'm taking over a class at the gym on Fridays, so I'm going to start teaching again there. And then a little supplement, me teaching at Hopkins as well. So I'll be teaching like 4 days a week.
Awesome, dude.
And yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, man.
What else going on for you? How's your training going?
It's non-existent at the moment, but I'm finally, I'm feeling very excited to be back on the mats. So.
Yeah. You guys missed a bunch of recording drama at the beginning here. At the first, probably 2 minutes of the show we were recording, there's this weird fuzz happening. And I was like, what the fuck is that noise?
You have a fucking haunted board, dude.
And then we're messing with. And I got a new mic for Emil and the co-host on the show. And we spent like 30 minutes. And eventually it was like, is it the mic? And it was the mic. It's a mic I got, and it's buzzing. And so we replaced the mic. And so that was the stress level was through the roof trying to fix that issue. So hopefully it didn't affect the recording too much. But yeah. Anything else, Emil?
That's it.
All right. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, joined by my co-host,
Emil.
And we are the Grappling Rewind. We'll see you on the mat. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.